Hello Golden State Warriors fans, we are here once again to bring you the latest news related to our team, and I would like to emphasize how committed we are to improving our performance to achieve great results. Before we dive into this intriguing news, I kindly request you to show your support by clicking the like button, and if you are not yet subscribed to our channel, I invite you all to join us on an exciting journey. Remember to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything.
Steve Kerr says minutes without Steph Curry were the turning point in Warriors' painful loss to Spurs. The Golden State Warriors just can't seem to hold on to momentum. Every time they start climbing, they trip over their own feet, and Wednesday night was no different. Facing a depleted San Antonio Spurs team, the Warriors dropped what should have been a must-win game. In the wild race that is the Western Conference standings, every win is gold. Every loss? Costly. And this one hurt. Jimmy Butler poured in 28 points in a highly efficient performance, but even that wasn't enough to tip the scales. As impressive as his stat line was, it's clear the Warriors need more from him down the stretch, especially in high-stakes games like this. But in the eyes of head coach Steve Kerr, the true difference-maker wasn't who was on the court, it was who wasn't. Kerr points to minutes without Curry as the game-changer. Speaking after the game, Kerr didn't hold back in breaking down what went wrong. The Warriors played excellent basketball, for exactly half the game. We played two great quarters, the first and the third, Kerr said. But the start of the second and the start of the fourth? That's where we lost it. Kerr highlighted the team's collapse when Steph Curry was resting, specifically the early parts of the second and fourth quarters. In the second, they went on a 19-3 run. Then we entered the fourth up by 12, and suddenly it's a 12-4 run for them right out of the gate. Those were the key moments. He's not wrong. The Warriors were outscored dramatically when Curry sat, and despite his brilliance, even he couldn't undo that kind of damage alone once he checked back in. Warriors' heavy reliance on Steph is becoming a problem. Let's be honest, this team leans on Curry harder than any contender should lean on a single star. It's not just about his scoring. It's about the gravity he brings, the way defenses bend around him, and how much smoother the offense flows with him orchestrating the chaos. When Curry had an off-shooting night against the Rockets, the team looked lost. Against the Spurs, it was his absence that sank them. Even Buddy Hield cracked a smile when Kerr explained who Curry was and what he meant to the offense. It was a light-hearted moment, but it told a deeper truth. This isn't sustainable. Not in April. Not in May. The deeper you go into the playoffs, the more balanced you need to be. Championship teams don't just rely on their stars, they rise around them. And right now, Golden State doesn't look ready to rise unless Curry lifts them. If the Warriors want to make any noise in the postseason, they can't just hope Steph shows up. They have to be ready when he doesn't. We can't survive without him, and everyone knows it. What's perhaps most concerning is that Steve Kerr's post-game comments confirmed what Warriors fans, and honestly the whole NBA world, have been whispering for months. This team can't survive without Steph Curry on the floor. And that's not just a stat or an eye test. It's becoming the identity of this team. You could feel it in Chase Center as the Spurs lead began to snowball the moment Curry hit the bench. The energy dropped. The ball movement slowed. The defense got shaky. It wasn't just about scoring, it was about presence. Without Curry, the Warriors don't just lose a shooter, they lose their soul. Media and fan reaction, frustration boiling over. The loss sparked immediate backlash from media personalities and fans alike. On local radio and national networks, the talking heads didn't hold back. Analysts questioned not just the rotations, but the team's overall construction. How do you have this many veterans, this much playoff experience, and still rely on one guy like it's 2015? One pundit asked on a morning sports show. On social media, fans expressed everything from disappointment to outright panic. Some questioned why the bench continues to be such a liability. Others turned their attention to the front office, wondering whether enough was done at the trade deadline to give Curry the support he needs. The phrase "wasting Steph's prime" is trending again, for all the wrong reasons. Where do the Warriors go from here? There's no sugarcoating it, the Warriors are running out of time. With just a handful of games left in the regular season and the Western Conference standings as tight as they've ever been, every possession now carries weight. Golden State is dancing on the line between securing a play-in spot or falling completely out of the postseason picture. Steve Kerr has some critical decisions to make. Can the bench be trusted in key moments? Does anyone, besides Curry, want to step up and take ownership of this team? Will the front office's bet on experience and continuity pay off, or is this the end of the Warriors' dynastic era? The next game isn't just a game, it's a gut check. The bottom line. Yes, it was one loss. But it was a telling one. The kind of loss that strips away all the what-ifs and maybe next times, and forces a hard look in the mirror. The kind of loss that says, if the Warriors don't evolve, if they don't find ways to be more than just the Steph Curry show, the playoffs may be out of reach, and even if they make it in, they won't last long. Golden State has the tools. They have the experience. But until someone besides No. 30 starts consistently delivering in high-pressure moments, they'll keep repeating the same story. And it won't have a happy ending. Draymond Green reacts to Warriors' painful loss to Spurs. We lacked grit. The Golden State Warriors dropped a game they couldn't afford to lose, and it might come back to haunt them. Facing off against a struggling San Antonio Spurs team, the Warriors had one job: win. Instead, they let it slip through their fingers in the final moments, falling 114-111 after a dagger three-pointer from former Warrior Harrison Barnes sealed the deal. This wasn't just another L. It was a gut punch, one that drops Golden State to 7th in the Western Conference standings and puts even more pressure on them to fight their way into the top 6. Every game matters now. And this one? They gave away. Draymond doesn't sugarcoat it. We lacked grit. After the game, Draymond Green, never one to hold back, spoke candidly about what went wrong. And he didn't blame strategy, execution, or even fatigue. He blamed heart. We lacked grit, Green said bluntly. Sometimes, it's not about focus. Sometimes, it's just about grit. That fourth quarter collapse said it all. The Warriors were outscored 38-23 in the final frame, completely losing the edge they had built in the first and third quarters. Draymond, who's been through it all, for championships, countless playoff battles, knows exactly what it takes to win. And this wasn't it. We're not kids. We're grown men. We're champions, he said. We know what it takes. And we messed around and lost the game. Simple as that. A wake-up call for a team with championship DNA. Draymond's frustration wasn't just about this one game. It's about a pattern. The Warriors have shown flashes of brilliance this season, but just when they seem to find rhythm, they unravel. And now, with the playoffs looming, time is running out. This isn't about effort from one or two guys. It's about the whole team showing up. It's about playing like your season's on the line, because it is. Draymond's words weren't angry. They were honest. Urgent. Coming from a player who knows exactly what a championship team is supposed to look like, and knows this team didn't look like that. Kendrick Perkins weighs in, horrible L. The criticism didn't stop with Draymond. ESPN analyst and former NBA champion Kendrick Perkins echoed the sentiment on social media, calling it plain and simple. Horrible L for Golden State. No sugarcoating. Just facts. What's next? Must-win territory. The Warriors now turn their focus to the Portland Trail Blazers, a team already out of the play-in race, but one that can still play spoiler. It's a game Golden State must win. After that, the season finale against the LA Clippers, who are locked into the top 5 and playing like a true contender. Golden State's margin for error is gone. If they want to avoid the chaos of the play-in tournament, or worse, an early exit, they'll have to find that grit Draymond's talking about. Fast. Harrison Barnes' game winner puts the Warriors in a tough spot. Fly, Black Falcon, fly. Sigh. It was almost poetic, one of those moments in basketball that makes you wonder if the universe scripted it all. Harrison Barnes, the Black Falcon, drained a cold-blooded three at the buzzer, sending the Warriors spiraling into the quicksand of the play-in tournament, just when they were clawing their way out. Yes, that Harrison Barnes, the same one Warriors fans couldn't forget or forgive after his infamous shooting slump in the 2016 NBA Finals, just stabbed the Chase Center straight in the heart with a dagger at the horn. His redemption arc has been nothing short of cinematic. After leaving Golden State for a max deal, watching Kevin Durant take his place and win back-to-back Finals MVPs, then bouncing to Sacramento and now San Antonio, Barnes has lived the full how it started versus how it's going meme. But on Wednesday night, when that shot left his hands, time froze inside Chase Center. Warriors fans collectively flashed back to all those wide-open bricks he clanked against Cleveland in 2016. Only this time, the shot went in. The ultimate plot twist. What makes this dagger hit even harder, or sweeter depending on your loyalty, is that it came over Jimmy Butler. In a way, Butler is the third evolution of the wing the Warriors once hoped Barnes would become. First it was Barnes, then Durant, then Wiggins, and now Butler, a six-time All-Star and certified killer. And yet, there was Barnes, outshining Butler when it mattered most. The Warriors had a 14-point lead. They had Butler dropping 28. They had everything going for them, and still let it slip. It was the kind of collapse that makes you think, what if? What if Barnes had become that guy back then? Remember when Barnes was the highly touted kid out of UNC, dripping with potential? When Mark Jackson boldly said he'd be an all-star? When Warriors fans swore he was untouchable in trade talks? Well, for one brilliant night in San Antonio, he became everything they once dreamed he'd be, a killer, a closer, a cold-hearted assassin from deep. Now the Warriors' playoff hopes, once almost a sure thing after landing Butler, are hanging by a thread. They've slipped to the 7th seed and are staring straight into the chaos of a play-in battle with Minnesota. And why? Because the ghost of finals past came back, and he wasn't done with them yet. Somewhere, LeBron James might be raising a glass of wine, savoring this moment, a poetic little echo of 2016, when Barnes' cold streak helped deliver him a ring. Now, Barnes' hot hand might just doom the team that let him go. Revenge, as they say, is best served cold, and after 7 long years, the Black Falcon came back to serve it ice cold. The journey of Harrison Barnes, from unfulfilled promise to Warriors heartbreaker. Harrison Barnes, known as the Black Falcon, had long been seen by Warriors fans as a case of potential unfulfilled. After his departure in 2016, his career saw its share of ups and downs, a max contract in Dallas, a stint in Sacramento, and now, a veteran role with the San Antonio Spurs. It was with the Spurs that Barnes completed his full circle moment, delivering a dagger that stunned the very franchise that once believed in him. On the night of April 9, 2025, Barnes sank a buzzer-beating three-pointer to lift the Spurs over the Warriors, 114-111. That one shot didn't just steal a win. It shook the Warriors to their core and knocked them deeper into the chaos of the Western Conference play-in race. The fallout, standings and reactions. With the loss, the Warriors slipped to the 7th seed in the West, now holding a 45-35 record. That drop means they'll have to fight for their playoff lives in the play-in tournament, something they were desperately trying to avoid. The collapse exposed critical issues, especially in the closing moments of games, and raised serious questions about whether this team is truly ready for the postseason grind. Fans and analysts alike expressed their frustration with the Warriors' lack of consistency. For a team loaded with talent, the inability to close games is becoming a disturbing trend. If they hope to make a deep playoff run, something has to change, fast. What's next? The play-in tournament and the road ahead. The play-in tournament, set for April 15th to 18th, will determine the final playoff seeds. Sitting at 7th, the Warriors are now lined up to face the 8th-seeded Minnesota Timberwolves in a do-or-die matchup. A win secures a playoff spot. A loss means they'll face the winner of the 9th versus 10th game for one final shot. The margin for error is razor-thin. Since the play-in was introduced, no team seeded 10th has made it to the playoffs, a stat the Warriors are hoping to avoid finding out firsthand. Every remaining game in the regular season is now crucial, not just for seeding but for momentum, chemistry, and confidence. Final thoughts: Barnes' legacy and the Warriors' moment of truth. Harrison Barnes' story is a reminder that nothing in basketball, or life, is ever truly over. Redemption, when it comes, is powerful. For Barnes, that moment arrived in the form of a single shot, one that echoed through Chase Center and sent ripples across the league. For the Warriors, that shot might be a turning point. Whether it becomes a wake-up call or the beginning of the end will depend on how this team responds. One thing's for sure, if they want to keep their title hopes alive, they'll need to regroup, refocus, and bring the fight to the play-in. And somewhere maybe, LeBron James is sipping a glass of wine, smiling at the poetry of it all. Warriors versus Spurs player grades. Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler 3 shine in an ugly loss. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The Golden State Warriors just dropped a game they had no business losing. A 114-111 defeat to the San Antonio Spurs, sealed by a heartbreaking buzzer-beating 3 from former Warrior Harrison Barnes, left fans stunned and frustrated. It was messy. It was awkward. And yeah, embarrassing too. But someone's got to assess how each player performed, so here we are. Just a reminder, these grades are based on my expectations for each player, not some rigid stat formula. A B means you played about how I'd expect. But let's not sugarcoat it, this team as a whole earned a straight-up F tonight. This wasn't their worst game of the season. Not even close. But it was their most inexcusable loss, considering the opponent and what was on the line. Quick note on true shooting percent, TS percent it accounts for threes and free throws. League average coming into Wednesday was 57.6%. Moses Moody. 31 minutes, 7 PTS or 8 Reb or 1 AST or 1 STL, 3 to 11 FG or 1 to 7 3 points, 31.8% TS-5. Tough shooting night for Moody, and unfortunately, his defense didn't make up for it either. San Antonio's guards were getting what they wanted. Still, I appreciated his hustle on the boards and his energy around the rim. The fight was there, even if the finish wasn't. Grade C. Jimmy Butler 3. 38 minutes, 28 PTS, F4 Reb, 7 AST or 2 STL, 5 to 8 FG 2 to 2 3 points, 16 to 17 feet, 90.4% TS-9. Don't let the plus-minus fool you, Butler 3 brought the heat. He was spectacularly efficient, fearless attacking the rim, and kept the team afloat, especially with Steph on the bench. Not his best night defensively, but when you're scoring 28 points on 90% shooting and handing out 7 dimes with just 1 turnover, you're doing more than your job. Grade A. Post-game bonus, team worst plus, minus, which feels criminal. Draymond Green. 33 minutes, 13 PTS, 9 Reb A8 AST or 2 STL, 1 BLK 4 to 7 FG 2 to 4 3 points, 3 to 4 feet. 74.2% TS-6. A weird one for Dre. Statistically, great. Defensively, some moments of pure brilliance. But he also disappeared for stretches, especially late, and made a few costly mistakes. Still, this wasn't on him. Grade B. Post-game bonus. Led the team in boards and dimes. Brandon Podziemski. 33 minutes, 7 PTS, 3 Reb, 5 AST 3 to 11 FG or 1 to 5 3 points, 31.8% TS or 0 plus or minus. Brandon's been on a roll lately, but this one just didn't go his way. Couldn't find a rhythm offensively, and didn't make a big enough impact elsewhere to offset that. Grade C. Steph Curry. 37 minutes, 30 PTS, 8 Reb, 3 AST or 2 STL, 12 to 24 FG 5 to 14 3 points or 1 to 1 foot, 61.4% TS plus 13. A quintessential Curry carried them game. The Warriors outscored the Spurs by 13 with Steph on the floor, and were outscored by 16 when he sat. It wasn't his most efficient shooting night from deep, but he was still electric and gave his team a real chance. He needed more help. Grade A. Post-game bonus. Led the team in points and plus-minus. Jonathan Kuminga. 18 minutes, 12 PTS, 3 Reb or 1 AST 5 to 10 FG or 1 to 4 3 points or 1 to 2 feet. 55.1% TS-2. Kuminga had flashes, especially attacking the rim. But the consistency just wasn't there. He struggled defensively and wasn't moving the ball as well as he usually does. Grade C. Buddy Hield. 26 minutes, 12 PTS, 4 Reb or 1 AST 4 to 13 FG 4 to 10 3 points, 46.2% TS-1. Hield came out aggressive and hit some early threes, but cooled off fast. Shot selection got shaky and he didn't offer much resistance on defense. A mixed bag. Grade C. Kevin Looney. 12 minutes, 2 PTS, 2 Reb, 3 AST 2 to 2 feet, 113.6% TS 0 plus or minus. Solid minutes from Looney. This wasn't really the type of matchup where he could shine, but he gave the team quality minutes when called upon. Grade B+. Gue Santos. 8 minutes, 0 PTS or 1 Reb 1 STL 0 to 2 FG 0 to 2 3 points 0 to 2 feet 0% TS-8. Rough night for Gue. Shots weren't falling, and he struggled to make an impact. Gotta shake this one off and bounce back. Grade D. Tracy Jackson Davis. 3 minutes, 0 PTS, 3 Reb 1 to A plus 3. TJD got a short run with Quinton post out. Not much to evaluate, but he hit the glass hard. Grade, incomplete. DNPCD, did not play coach's decision. Taron Armstrong, Braxton Key, Kevin Knox 2, Pat Spencer, Jackson Rowe. Inactive, Gary Payton 2, Quinton post. If the Warriors want to hold on to playoff hopes, they can't afford any more nights like this. You can't let games slip away when your stars show up and deliver. The rest of the team has to meet the moment. Say Quisser, posso transformer esse contudo carousel de Instagram ou post estilo blog esportivo também. Quer isso?